Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of the Raising the Bar podcast, hosted by Barr. This podcast is basically just going over kind of a prep journey and kind of a documentation for my bodybuilding prep. Currently 7 weeks out from my show. Yeah, things are getting pretty interesting. Cardio's at 4 bouts of 25 minutes, which honestly isn't too bad at the moment. Calories are around 2,100 calories, so again, not terrible for 7 weeks out. Macros are around 240 protein, 160-ish carbs, and about 50-ish fat. So nothing that's too ridiculous to work with. My workout routine is a push-pull legs and then chest and arms, back and delts day. Kind of working on more upper body volume since the show that I would be doing is a men's physique show. So we're kind of limiting the volume for the quads and trying to get it more for all the upper body, which is kind of shown off in that men's physique category. So currently training is all going up. All the lifts are improving. Fatigue from the actual sessions themselves is kind of adding up. I notice a lot more when I'm doing my leg days that I start to feel a little more fatigued and kind of heavy legged after, which is bound to happen. So I opened up an Instagram kind of Q&A type of deal just in the past few days, and one of the main questions kind of revolving around my pre and post workout meals. Typically because the job that I have, which I won't talk about on here, but the jobs that I have kind of require me to be up early and kind of work till late. So my training sessions are usually starting anywhere from 6 in the morning till like 8 in the morning and go from kind of 8 in the morning until 10 in the morning. Some type of deal like that. Either way, way too early to kind of choke down more than one or two meals. So my go-to kind of pre-workout meal / shake, I would say. And one of my buddies got me onto this a while ago, and ever since it's kind of worked out pretty well, and just digestion-wise, it hasn't really been messing with my stomach too much, especially during leg days, which is huge. So right now I'm running 60 grams of oats, 40 grams of chocolate economy whey from Canada Protein, and then just a bit of water, and then a little bit of creatine in there as well. Just quick, kind of get carbs and protein into the system, not too much fat. So meal 2 is kind of a higher carb meal. It is consisting currently of 90 grams of cream of rice, which is raw weight, 50 grams of chocolate economy whey from Canada Protein, and 1 square of dark chocolate. And then for meal 3, so typically I split my meals up into 5 meals throughout the day. So meal 3 is consisting of 200 grams cooked weight of ground chicken, 100 grams of riced cauliflower, which honestly during prep has been just a blessing in disguise. Rice for me right now is just a little too high in carbs to have throughout the rest of the day, and I need that kind of satiation and volume, so the riced cauliflower is definitely doing it for me. And then 100 grams of zucchini, again, just for flavor and volume, nothing too crazy. Meal 4, usually, I just got to double check my MyFitnessPal here, kind of doing this on the spot. Meal 4 is 200 grams of cooked chicken breast, again, 100 grams of the riced cauliflower, and 100 grams of zucchini, and then just a little bit of no sugar added or stevia sweetened ketchup. Meal 5 kind of becomes kind of a finish off the macros for the day meal. So like currently today I'll be running 300 grams of egg whites, 1 rice cake, and then 10 grams of peanut butter, again just to hit all the macros that I need, so that I'm good to go kind of for the night. So on to the next question. Somebody was asking, what supplements or vitamins would you suggest using when lifting 5 times a week? Personally for me, and I'm not a medical professional when it comes to supplementation or anything of that nature, I would suggest some sort of fish oil or omega-369. I just get whatever brand I find at Walmart. I'll usually take a B12 just for that natural energy boost, just to start my day off. And then I've been kind of following in the footsteps of Josh Bridgman. Big shout out, Josh. He has been kind of talking about how you would kind of have any sort of vitamins or minerals like that away from your training period. So personally, I have my vitamin C's before bed. I also just take a low dose melatonin just before bed as well. Even if it's a placebo, honestly, it helps for me. But yeah, I don't take too many vitamins, I would say, supplement wise. It all kind of depends on budget. If you can budget out and afford some good pre-workout, I would definitely suggest creatine. Creatine's just something super cheap if you can find it. But honestly, like, best bang for your buck kind of performance supplement out there. And yeah, I can't really think of anything else that I would say is like necessary for when it comes to supplementation. All right, here's another good one here. Advice on how to stay motivated when you aren't on prep or cutting/bulking. For me personally, before I started this prep, a lot of it is just remembering your why, which sounds super cliche, but understanding why you got into physical activity or training in the first place will definitely help. Funny enough, out of all things that got people into physical activity, like breakups, poor relationships, like whatever the case, mine was actually getting into the gym in grade 10. I was a super huge fan of snowboarding, and I was thinking the gym would be the best way to improve my snowboarding. So sure enough, I was crushing leg days 3 days a week to try and improve my snowboarding skills, and it did not help one bit. My legs were just sore, and it didn't help me snowboard because my legs were just still sore when I was snowboarding. So yeah, I'd recommend strength training for that, but not at the intensity or volume that I was doing it at when I was in grade 10, that's for sure. But a key thing for sure, staying motivated, is keeping goals that are very consistent with what you're kind of wanting to do. So let's say you're wanting to get stronger and you're doing a deadlift, right? And you just want to get stronger at the deadlift. You start making slow goals to that deadlift and slow progressions to that deadlift. And then over time, you keep hitting those goals and making bigger goals. And then that's how you stay motivated when it comes to things like this. All right, next question is favorite go-to meal. I don't know if my buddy here means like a cheat meal or if he's talking about just meal on prep, but my go-to meal on prep is definitely cream of rice with protein powder. It just hits the spot so well. It hits that sweet tooth, and if I'm really feeling like that savory feeling, I'll add a little bit of pink Himalayan salt to it to give kind of like a salty chocolate taste. At the start of prep, I was doing a little bit of sea salt and caramel dark chocolate in there as well. But now I've switched over just to an 85 or 90% dark chocolate. Either way, just tastes fantastic. Can't complain about it. It looks literally like shit, but it tastes amazing on prep, and it's such a high volume meal that it's just, yeah, pretty solid. Favorite compound movement. I'm going to have to personally say the deadlift, only because that just hinging movement has so many different ways of doing it. Like, for me personally, I'm a big fan of just stiff leg deadlifts or like Romanian deadlifts, but normal conventional deadlifts have their place. Sumo for sure has its place. I wouldn't say in like a bodybuilding or hypertrophy aspect as much, and I might get flack for that. But yeah, deadlifts for sure. One of my favorite compound movements. That, or probably like an incline dumbbell press or something like that. Again, just feel super strong doing it, super controlled doing it, and it's just a great movement overall. And then he goes on to ask, favorite isolation movement. I've currently been running like a cuffed lateral raise. Again, kind of seeing this from Josh Bridgman, and then kind of a few other buddies from the gym who kind of put me on this as well. Best lateral delt movement I could ever think of. Takes the whole wrist out of the equation, which I know some people, they'll start extending or flexing at the wrist to kind of get that movement in. It takes that whole thing right out of it. So honestly, it just burns so nice, and it's just a good exercise for that for sure. The next one here is Crocs, yay or nay? Yay outside of the gym, and again, might get some flack from some of my buddies about that. Yay outside of the gym, nay in the gym. You look like SpongeBob walking around at the gym with Crocs on. The next one here is go-to pre-workout. Again, so that goes on kind of the idea of like whether or not you can afford supplements or not. Personally, in the situation I'm in, I can, which is very nice. I would first say like a pre-workout meal is fantastic, so that oats and protein powder, and then on days where I'm able to actually eat it itself, I'll eat it itself and like microwave the oats and everything. But then after that, I recently just bought, the Iron Kingdom pre-workout in a pineapple mango flavor, which is, again, just a solid pre-workout, and I can't complain about it at all. All right, the next question here is the optimal form of cardio for fat loss. Personally, I don't think there's any one that's the most optimal for fat loss or not. When it comes to fat loss, it's probably whichever one you can stay consistent with. For me, it's a tie between the Stairmaster and the stationary bike. Luckily for me, where I am right now, I have a stationary bike at home. So days that I'm not training, so my rest days, I will hit the stationary bike for 25 minutes. I'll just pop on a show, and it's pretty nice there. And then there's a couple Stairmasters at the gym that I go to, so I would probably say Stairmaster for me over the bike, just because I don't have to move it. I just have to keep up with the Stairmaster. All right, last question. Oh, my buddy asked top 5 anime in no order. So yeah, I've been kind of low-key been watching anime just kind of as something to like pass cardio by. Honestly, my go-to to stay consistent with cardio has been finding a show, whether it's on Netflix or just keeping up with just like whatever show that you're currently watching, and only watching it on whatever cardio equipment you do. Top 5 anime. Attack on Titan, Naruto, Fire Force, Vinland Saga, and probably Death Note. Kind of all over the place anime for sure. Also right new to the game with it. COVID kind of made me super bored, so I said, hey, why not? And all my buddies just gave me a 20 show list of things to watch, so all of those have about a nice 100 to 200 episodes, so it's been tough getting through them all, so we'll eventually get through them. So that will be the end of this episode of Raising the Bar. 7 weeks out now. Gonna get pretty interesting for next week's episode. We'll be about 6 weeks out at that time. We'll probably try another Q&A and go into a little more detail about my training split and kind of what weights I'm pushing for certain exercises and why certain exercises are in and certain ones are out. Anyways, that'll be it for today, and peace out, everybody.